Welcome to Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. Let us please stand on up and we'll sing our opening song together. To empower spiritual growth. And we love that you are here to share it with us today. So our online host this morning is going to be Cal. So if you are online, please say hi to Cal. Hopefully the sound is coming through clear. If not, shoot Cal a little message. This is kind of a experiment by natural divinity for us to not have microphones today. So anyway, it would be interesting to know if you're online, if you could please shout out and let us know how it sounds. You know, we may go forward in a different direction if those would not be required in the future. And if you're also online for a first time, please give a shout out to Cal. Let us know how you found us. We'd love to hear from you. So we're currently still in the process of bringing in our new minister to Genesis. So if we can all, it'll be up on the screen here in a moment, and we can all say our sacred minister easy covenant prayer together. I recognize there is one life. This life is God's life. This life is my life now. I am one with this life and all its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for Genesis Center for Spiritual Living as a revelation of God as love. As Ernest Holmes says, I dwell in the house of love. Love attends me in my home of the soul. I shall never leave this home of the spirit. I shall abide in this home forevermore. Feeling into with full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing these powerful truths about myself. I am powerfully expressing divine love, inspiring all to do the same. I am blessing and honoring all paths of spirituality, awakening deeper truths and spiritual growth. I am a place where God shows up, expressing divine love, allowing truth and joy to heal all. I am embracing, teaching, and exploring spiritual truths from diverse spiritual teachings. I am teaching and embodying prosperity, trusting that God is the source of my good. I now accept this highest expression of spirit as myself, and I know this expression is now being revealed as the new minister that serves the highest and greatest good for Genesis. I am grateful, we are grateful, and so it is. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our announcements. So mark your calendar. For Eric Odell is offering a workshop on Sunday, July 23rd from 11:45 to 1:15 called Spiritual Practices for Better Living. I don't know if you've ever been to one of Eric's workshops. They're phenomenal. And I highly recommend that you take a time to come on in and get some of that, spiritual awakening. Open up our hearts. It's a fun and fast-paced opportunity to pick up some teachings, some spiritual techniques to bring head and heart into better alignment. And then on Wednesday evenings, specifically this coming July 5th, from 7 to 8, there will be a free workshop on writing intentions. So every Wednesday we have our intention workshop. This Wednesday is going to be specifically for writing intentions. This is not just for those who have been attending on a regular basis, but for anyone who would like to realize the power of setting intentions and miracles.
I think that's fine.
Oh, we already came past July 5th, didn't we?
It's okay. We'll do it this week too.
Cool. I like that idea because I missed the last one. And then Karen is continuing her guided read through the entire Science of Mind textbook. And every day you'll find posted on her Facebook page and the Genesis family page the reading for the day. So now is the time to do our meet and greet. Please stand and take a few moments to say hello to your neighbor. And
Thanks for coming in and being our speaker.
opportunity for us to meet any of our first-time attenders at Genesis. Is there anyone online for the first time this morning? No, just friends and family. Great. In the audience, anybody wanting to stand up as a first time? I think we're all long-lost family members. Okay, so now, does anybody need a prayer card this morning? If so, feel free to raise your hand and somebody will come along to give you that, as we'll use that later in service. We're good? Okay. Let me go ahead and take this moment to thank our volunteers. Now, volunteers is what it's all about in a spiritual community. We could not do what we do on a Sunday without volunteers. So I'd like to give a special shout out this morning to Cynthia for being our greeter, and Mike, Johns, and Eric, I think, are doing our projector and Facebook feed. Yeah, projector. Yeah. And our offering today is going to be Gideon. Is that correct? Great. And Soren is here to do our sound, but we're kind of doing it natural today, so he's kind of getting a bit of a break. Online host, I said, was Cal, and our service practitioner is Dave. And Dave will be introducing our wonderful musicians here shortly. And again, we're so very grateful for everybody who shows up to be of service to Genesis and our community. If you're interested in signing up ahead of time for assisting, which would be great because then one of us regulars could take a day off, please see Gideon at any point in time for anything that you were able to do, be it, make coffee, come in a little early, set up chairs, whatever's on your heart. So today, our practitioner is going to be Dave Pennick. And please find Dave, if you're interested after service, for a little bit of that hit of the good stuff, a little bit of prayer. You can always pray for more good, or if there's a challenge in your life, please reach out, and Dave can help get that centered and manifest bigger and better things. Let us go ahead at this time and kind of move into that place of opening up our hearts and receiving our messages by singing our song of
I'll meet you.
I'm not used to this without a microphone. All right. So today's reading we have is from one of my favorite books. It's How to Change Your Life by Ernest Holmes. And it is from a section called All's Love, All's Law. And then we will get a double dose of the good stuff by reading just a tiny little paragraph from the big one, The Science of Mind. One comes to agree with Robert Browning that all's love, yet all's law. And there is an impersonal law as well as a personal relationship to the Spirit. This law exists for all, like the law of mathematics or any other natural law, but the relationship is personified through each individual at the level of his or her consciousness, at the level of each person's comprehension of what God means to him or her. Intelligence and reason must be rules of thought, and God must be accessible to all on equal terms. The scientific religionist cannot believe in miracles, but he or she will not deny the power of spiritual thought. Rather, the scientific religionist will think that the so-called miracles performed as a result of spiritual faith have been in accord with natural law and cosmic order, and they can be reproduced at will. That's pretty cool. That which illumined have experienced, and that which persons of great spiritual power have proved, the scientific religionist feels can be deliberately used in everyday life. To the individual believing there is a principle, intelligence, or consciousness governing all things, there comes a feeling that he or she understands the laws, or at least some of the laws, of this principle, as the person feels that is intensely sane as well as humanly practical to apply faith, consciousness, and spiritual conviction to the solution of human problems. And this is one of my favorite things because of the spiritual truth that they teach you in practitioner training. So I love this little paragraph. As we gain the broader viewpoint, we shall see that life must contain two fundamental characteristics. We shall see there is an infinite spirit operating through an infinite and immutable law. In this cosmos and not chaos finds an eternal existence in reality. Love points the way, and the law makes the way possible. Brilliant stuff. So with that, let us pray. So I invite you all just to close your eyes. I invite you all just to take a deep breath in and out. And just recognize right here and right now that there is an absolute presence of that divine, of that spiritual energy, of that great God. And I recognize that God has existence in each and every single one of us. Right here and right now, we are that presence. We are that divine spirit. And every word, every expression, who we are is manifesting that great goodness of God. We are the miracle of God, but we are the miracle of God because we are the absolute truth of that spirit. That truth exists in all our actions, in everything that we do, in all that we say, in all that we believe. And so if we want miracles to exist in our lives, we simply think it into the law. And the law says only one word. The law says yes. The law says yes to all that you have to offer into this world. And so I recognize goodness, I recognize life, I recognize love, I recognize peace, I recognize abundance, I recognize that great spirit in each and every one of us here, right now. We are the miracles of law and love that makes life happen. And so with that knowing, I just give great thanks. I give great thanks to the Spirit that says the absolute yes, right here and right now, to each and every single one of us. And so I release that knowing into the law that says yes. I call it good. I call it God. Because in the end, it truly is always good. Because it forever and ever is always all God. And so it is. And so with that, I would like to invite Chris, come up to the stage, and Jona Brown, and thank you so much for being here tonight and today.
hold on to. It's so weird. My hands will go all over the place.
has that gift. improvising. Thank you so much, Chris and Jonah. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. So now I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our speaker today. Linda Potter has graciously accepted to come and speak with us here at Genesis. Linda is an emeritus practitioner and the author of If Only God Could Give Me a Sign. She has a strong interest in quantum physics and spiritual connection. During her 10-year association with Bella Spark Productions and Bella Spark Magazine, Linda had the opportunity to interview, and in some cases work with, several of the principals featured in the What the Bleep Do We Know? A movie that I'm sure most of us are familiar with. An association which sparked an interest in how applying quantum principles to scientific prayer can turn us into miracle-making manifestation machines. Let us go ahead and welcome on up Linda Potter. That is perfectly fine, right? Thank you so much.
I wanted to talk about this. Well, for one thing, everybody likes miracles, wants to know how to have a miracle in their life, but I chose this because I just finished teaching my absolute favorite course that I have ever taught, was Science of Mind, and that is Shortcut to a Miracle. And Eric was in the class. It's an amazing course. It's based on the book of the same name, Shortcut to a Miracle, by Elizabeth Eric, that was written in the early 2000s. So think, the time of The Secret, or the time of What the Bleep. It was during that era that this book was written. And why I like this class and why I fell so in love with this book is because it talks about that quantum physics and spirituality connection. And that's something that I really have a lot of passion around. I think we don't maybe talk about it enough, that our belief system is based on some very definite, sound scientific principles, and that's why it works. So when I decided to teach the class, it was kind of interesting because I had not only the class that I could teach and share all of this information that I was really close to, but I had the unprecedented honor of being able to teach this Zoom class with the author of the book present in the course. Now, this is one of those serendipitous, crazy things, where Elizabeth Eric contacts me out of the blue. She heard from a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing that I was teaching the class, and she says, I want to be there. I want to be a fly on the wall for 8 weeks. At first I was going, yeah, what I really need is the author in my class. And then I talked to her, and I thought, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And she wasn't a fly on the wall. I knew she couldn't stay there. But she was an invaluable resource, and she was so much fun to work with for all of that time. And as a result of our working together and collaborating, we were able to just, create miracle after miracle after miracle. It was, that connection was something of a miracle in and of itself. And then the first of many miracles that happened during that 8-week course. Miracles just kept dropping like pennies from heaven, until our cup overflowed. And when the course was done, I just had to sit back and go, oh my gosh, how amazing was this? How absolutely incredible. How did all of this good just keep manifesting, manifesting, manifesting? And I knew how. It was all of the principles that were inside in the Shortcut to a Miracle materials. Principles that at least we've probably been exposed to at some point in time. I think you probably all know these principles, but maybe we didn't fully understand them, or perhaps more likely, we understood them, but when things get challenging and the world gets a little overwhelming, we have a tendency to forget all of those things that we really know to be true. So I wanted to create miracles for other people as well. And I wanted to talk about this miracle-making process with you guys here today. And in order to do that, we need to get some basic ground rules or some basic understandings in order to move forward. And the first really important understanding is releasing any notions that we may have that miracles are, according to the dictionary, lucky events that are surprising and unexpected. Absolutely not. Miracles are not the end product of good luck. They are rather the result of the intentional application of spiritual truth and scientific principles. And when that spiritual truth is science of mind, and those scientific principles are quantum physics, miracles become daily occurrences. Oh, and by the way, you know the science in religious science is quantum physics. We don't often talk about that, but it's absolutely true. It's amazing how basic religious science principles align very nicely with key elements of quantum physics. And that's the thing that got me all excited about this material. Two particular, the two most basic tenets of quantum physics. Let me just read you what they are and see if maybe you can see a possible connection that they would have with religious science. The first one, and I don't go blurry eyed just because I said quantum physics. This is a simple concept. Believe me, I am not a science person. When I saw what the belief to be, I took my son, who was a aerospace engineer with me the second time so he could translate, and then the third time I tried it on my own again, I finally got it. So I'm with you on that. Now this is a very simple principle. It's called quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Now, there's a lot to this, but basically what it tells us is at the quantum level, everything is connected. We are one with everything, including, of course, God. God, the universe, all that is, sounds a little bit like God is all there is, we are one with God, doesn't it? Okay. Second basic tenet of quantum physics is the observer effect. Now, this simply says, hang in with me, it's not really as hard as it sounds initially. This simply says that the universe is made up of energy. The whole universe is made of energy. And it's made of energy in the form of waves, right? And that energy stays as waves until something magical happens. It is observed. Or for our purposes, until it captures our attention and our mind focuses on it. At the moment it becomes observed, it collapses. That wave collapses into a particle and becomes matter. Isn't that kind of interesting? That is a fascinating idea. Infinite possibility until we decide to choose something. We decide to look at something. And at that moment in time, that infinite possibility collapses into our reality. So pretty much literally, thoughts really do create. You've heard that, right? Change your thinking, change your life. And if you change where you focus your thoughts, you change what manifests in your life. This is good stuff, guys. I get excited about this stuff. So keeping all of that in mind, and also knowing that Ernest Thomas once said, there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it, we now may actually be able to know, not only know its name, not only know the name of this power in the universe, which is God, or however you want to get that one mind, but we now also know exactly what the mechanism is for co-creation with intention, the reality of our dreams. And that mechanism is quantum physics, or some basic quantum physics principles. Are you with me? I haven't lost you quite yet. Now, we already have some really powerful tools in our toolbox. We really do, as science and mind practitioners or students. Affirmative prayer, oh my gosh, affirmative prayer is an amazing tool. But what if we could possibly build on that to up-level our manifesting experience? What if we could take it to the next level? So when I first started teaching this class, I thought, I want to do that. I want to find a way to take the material and shortcut to a miracle and use it to up-level the experience that we have with affirmative prayer. So back in 2013, the very first time I taught the course, I started working on a formula. I love equations. They work for me when I can see an equation and see how something happens, results, all right? So I worked on a formula. This formula had to have the following characteristics. It had it had to have religious science teachings. It had to incorporate the concepts put forth in Shortcut to a Miracle. It had to incorporate a few ideas inspired by the work of old Saint Joe Dispenza. Anybody heard of him? Huge Joe Dispenza fan. And finally, it had to incorporate a couple of the ahas from the What the Bleep movie. And so the result was a miracle-making equation. I have to find a sexier name than that. It's just really boring, but you know, it's a miracle-making equation essentially. Oh, and as a bonus, I wanted that equation totally accessible by not only people who are into New Thought, but to anybody with a spiritual background. Totally understandable. That's one of the things Elizabeth said too. When she wrote the book Shortcut to a Miracle, she did not write it for religious science people. She wrote it so everybody could understand it, even though she herself was a religious science minister. Now, my all-purpose money-making equation has been worked and reworked over the years at the current iteration. It's on that screen, I hope. Can you visit and use our power?
The projector?
Yeah, the projector, yeah. I was going to put this, there it is. Oh, there we go. There's the equation. Very good. Thank you. The equation is, it looks worse than it is. F1, Fi plus e to the third power plus b times UF equals manifestation. So what's this basically is saying now? I'll go through this in far easier terms. Focused intention plus expanding, enhanced, elevated emotion, meaning motion to the third power, passion, plus belief. Take all of that, wrap it together, and multiply it by unyielding faith, and you will get a miracle every single time.
Nice.
Every single time. Let me explain. I'm going to go through the individual steps. It obviously is going to be briefly. You know, this was an 8-week class, about 20 hours. Give you a little taste of each one of these so that you can get kind of an idea of where it's going, and I think you can run with it. I really do. You can run with this. Step 1, focused intention. You have to change. Change is going to begin with focused intention. Okay, so if you're out there in the quantum field of infinite possibility, you need to get pretty clear as to which one of those infinite possibilities you wish to manifest in your life. You've got to figure out which one it is, focus on it so that you can collapse it into your reality. We're often pretty darn vague about what we want. You know, over the years, I've been a practitioner for 22 years now. Some of the prayer requests, I just no idea what people want. You know, they write something so general that I end up doing the highest and best because I really don't know what they're asking for. It's very, very vague. We need that clarity to make good decisions. Let me share a funny story. My son Derek when he was in high school, he used to work at a hobby store. And this hobby store specialized in radio-controlled cars. And they carried hundreds of radio-controlled cars. So one day he gets a call from a customer who says, hey, you know, my son was in the other day and I want to buy, he likes these radio-controlled cars, I want to buy him one for his birthday. Can I give you my credit card over the phone and then you can hold it till next week when I can get in? I said, well, sure. You know, which one? She goes, the red one. Now he's looking at hundreds of radio-controlled cars, about 10% of which are red. All right? So he says, Mom, I know I shouldn't have, but it just came out. I didn't intend for it, but I said to her, ma'am, I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number. The number for the second hotline is 888-555-1212. And he says, and thank God she had a sense of humor, I didn't lose my job. You know, but the truth is, we often treat the universe like the psychic friends in the universe. You're supposed to know what it is that we want to manifest. I want abundance. An abundance of what? You know, cat figurines, designer handbags, bills. You get those automatically. Those are easy to manifest. What is it that you specifically want? You wouldn't send your partner, this is the best analogy I can think of, you wouldn't send your partner, your spouse, whoever it might be, to the grocery store with a grocery list that said, food. Now, if I sent my husband to the grocery store with that list, he'd come back with potato chips, donuts, and sardines. You know? And so that's the kind of grocery list that we tend to give to the universe. And then when the universe sends it back, you know, the metaphorical equivalent of potato chips, sardines, donuts, we go, the universe just doesn't listen, prayer doesn't problem is not that the universe isn't paying attention, is that you're not giving the universe clear direction in terms of what it is you actually manifest, okay? So that's where focus intention is truly important. Know what you want and put your intention there. So now, once you've really got that, then the next step is to ramp up the power of your intention by elevating, expanding, and enhancing your emotional connection to that intention. You got to get pretty doggone excited about what it is you manifest. You got to get invested in that thing. All right? If you remember nothing else about this talk, here is the wisdom I want you to take home with you. Contrary to what you may have been told in religious science off and on, thinking is not the whole picture. Changing your thought is not the whole picture. Because thoughts create, but feelings manifest. Thoughts create, feelings manifest. Change your thinking, change your life, not the whole picture. Creative thought is wonderful, but it stays in the realm of the abstract, right? The realm of the mind. We need to get the thought out of our heads and into our hearts and into our real life experience. We need emotions and feelings to accomplish that, to bring thoughts into reality. Is this making sense? Right? Now, I'm not denying that thoughts are powerful. Focused thoughts or intentions are even more powerful. I love The Secret. We all saw the exclusion, and as a result of that movie, everybody had sticky notes all over the place with affirmations, but I'm sorry. All the sticky notes in the world would say, I am wealthy, are not going to make you wealthy. They're just words on a piece of paper. There's no emotional commitment to that. There's no excitement around what would it be like to be wealthy, all right? It's our vibrational signature that is manifested. And that equals our consciousness. So every time you think and then match a thought with that emotion, you change your vibrational signature. And by definition, you also change your consciousness. That's where the manifestation magic starts to happen. And that's how consciousness evolves. Feel the energy of what you manifest. If you've ever taken any of Joe Dispenza's workshops, has anybody taken any of his workshops, done any of his work? Well, okay, I'll just share that. What's funny about his workshops, I give him a hard time about it, because he gets in the middle of these amazing meditations, and he's, you're manifesting something in your dreams, and he goes, I want you to feel what it would be like to be wealthy, to have perfect health. You don't feel what it would be like. So it's always been kind of a joke now with people who do a lot of Joe Dispenza's work. And I remember going to the ladies' room during the break one time at one of the workshops, and they were going, so how did you feel about that experience? What's feeling great about it? And although it's funny, he's not wrong. That's the level of feeling and emotion that you have to have in order to bring a focus and intention into manifestation. Making sense?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So, the next step is we're ready for step 3. Trying to get through this in a relatively quick manner. Expect the miracle. This is the belief piece. You've got your focused intention, this passionate emotional connection to it, and then you add into it belief. Now this is a belief that it can happen. This has got nothing to do with the belief in God. This is a belief that it was really possible. Anybody watch Ted Lasso? Anybody like that show? Oh my gosh, that is the most amazing show. I absolutely love Ted Lasso. The whole thing is based on this idea that this guy came in with absolutely no skills whatsoever into the soccer team, but he managed to lead them to victory through something more than belief. He convinced everybody that if you believe, it can happen. A lot of times we put so much energy into all of the stuff that we want to experience, but we don't really believe it can happen. We go, yeah, this would be nice if, but this would be nice if, but we can't get to that place where we actually doggone it. Not only can it be nice, it can happen. Whoops, I just walked in front of myself. It can happen, it can manifest into my reality. Right? It can happen. I'll have to share this. I never buy Powerball tickets. You know why I don't buy Powerball tickets? Because I don't believe, and I can't convince myself that I would have any idea what to do with $300 million. I can't buy it. I cannot convince myself that I could have that amount of money in my life. So I'd stupid to buy a butterball cookie because I know I'm not going to win. However, I might get there eventually, and in the meantime, I'll buy, pick 5 or a lotto or something where it's a little more manageable. But I know for a fact that I don't believe that I can win Powerball. So you have to believe that component has to be there. You have to convince yourself that this is actually going to take place. This is exactly what we do with the universe, and that's how we move forward. Absolute conviction. Final step, step 4. Take all of that, the focused intention, the elevated emotions, the belief, and then you take it, package it together, and you multiply it by unyielding faith. Unyielding faith. You give it to God. You give it to God and you say, I'm okay with divine right timing, whenever it shows up. I'm okay with divine right action, however it shows up. Because I know, God, you've got this. I know what I want, I feel what I want, I believe I can have it, and now I'm handing it off to my co-creator. And I know in my heart that it is going to manifest however it needs to. Now, some parts of this equation may be harder about than others. Whenever I teach this, focus intention seems to be okay with people. A lot of people have problems with getting that passion and emotion going. That's not my issue. My background is theater. I can do the acting as if stuff, no problem. But people really get stuck. And the belief, and the final piece more than anything, I need faith, that ability to let go, let God. But when you can put all 4 of these things together, manifesting magic. Let me share my best story. It's my final story. 25 years ago, I was sitting in a self-mastery class. And the minister said, hey guys, today we're going to make miracles. And everybody went, oh, hey John, pray, And so he said, we're just going to go through a little process to have some fun and play with this. He says, we're going to start by doing a little meditation. So he did a meditation. And in the meditation, he asked us to focus on something we really wanted to experience in our life. Something that we thought maybe was not possible, like a miracle, right? So we go into this, and he's taking us through this and through. So what's coming up for me, of all the things that could have come up for whatever reason, what came up for me was my desire to have a house on a lake. We'd always wanted lakefront property, right? Way too expensive. We could never afford it way out of our price range. And so even though we looked a couple times, we knew this was not going to happen, right? So I focused on this house on the lake. So we get off out of meditation. He says, okay, now I want you to get committed to this miracle, whatever it is. I want you to be physically, mentally, emotionally involved with this. I want you to get excited. So what I want you to do is some creative activity that bonds you with your miracle. So he offered us anything we wanted. You could write a poem, you could write a song, we had a couple musicians in the class. He had some sculpting clay, you get your hands dirty if you want to do that. And then the other last thing was possibly to draw something. Well, I can actually draw. So I decided I was going to draw the house I'm at the lake. So I'm drawing and I'm realizing, like 12 minutes into it, I'm not drawing a house at all. What I'm drawing is a lake. And I'm drawing a lake, and it's got trees, and it's got rocks, and there's an eagle and a nest up here, and the whole thing was just amazing. And I looked and I thought, wow, this is a realization here that I'm not really bonded to the house I'm in, I'm bonded to the lake. And I realized what I'd drawn was what it would look like from the back deck of my house, okay? And I was pretty excited about that. So we finished that project, and he says, okay, now I want you to say, I believe this is mine. I believe I deserve this. So we would say that, and then everybody would go around the class and go, I believe this is your miracle. I believe this is yours. So we were really into the beliefs. And then he says, now take it home, set it aside, let go, let God, and let's see what happens. So I did that. Over the next 6 weeks, people were coming in every week with, oh my gosh, my miracle manifested. Oh my gosh, my miracle manifested. My picture was still on the drawer of the desk. And the class ended, and I thought, well, divine right timing, I'm trying to convince myself that somehow or other I didn't mess this up. It was still coming. It was getting a little harder. And then I kind of forgot about it. And it was over a year and a half, I think, went by. one day my husband says to me, why don't we go out for a ride in the country? We haven't been out in the country for a while. So we take, it's about 10, 15 miles out into the countryside, and we noticed, wow, they're starting to do a lot of development out here because housing in the country is now going to be a lot cheaper than the housing in the city center. We're driving around with my this lake, and I said, I've been out here tens of times. I've never seen this lake before. And it's not only a lake, but I see there's a sign that they're building houses on this lake, and oh my gosh, the price range is near the top of our budget. We could pull this off. So can we just look? So we pull into the subdivision, and they've got 4 model homes and then just lots. They have nothing else. There's nothing else that's happened yet. We're driving along, and I went, whoa, can we just stop here for a second? And we get out, and I'm looking at this lot, and I'm like, just having this deja vu experience. I'm standing in the middle of this lot. There's something familiar about this. I can't. What happened? And then I went, no, that can't be it. And so I got in the car, and I said to my husband, we need to go home. I need to get something. And I went to my drawer and pulled out the picture that I drew of the view from my back deck. I went back out to this subdivision, and I went back to that line, and I stood there, and I looked at the picture, and I started to cry. The picture was exactly what I was looking at. It was as though I had taken a photograph of that lot and drawn a picture from that photograph. It was exactly focused intention. It was exactly what I had asked for. And so my husband goes, well, you kind of need to know what you build on the lot. He says, honestly, it doesn't count. I don't really care. I know it's going to be perfect. But we, went to the office, looked at the model homes, found one that was wonderful, built it on that lot. And we were there for, I think, 16 years. And I would have been there still, except we sold it to come here to Seattle 6 years ago, be with our grandkids. But that was the moment when I realized all of this really, really works. The focused intention was there, the emotional commitment was there, that absolute belief that it could happen, and that patience. I struggle with patience. We all struggle with patience to some extent. I had to have the patience to wait for God to get around to bring in the miracle. Okay? Got a side note, I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is just 30 seconds. While I was putting this class together, I'd had a 50-year hearing loss in this left ear. In the middle of putting this class together, all of a sudden my TV started screaming at me. 2 surgeries did not work. My TV started screaming at me. I go to the ear doctor and he goes, well, I have no explanation for this, but your hearing is bad. I was just working on the material in this class, There's something to this, and it's something that we can all embody. So, from that place of just, wow, this is exciting stuff. Let's just go into prayer. Let's just close our eyes. Close our eyes. I want you to just feel. I know God is all there is. I know God is here. I want you to feel it. If you hold your hands out in front of you, feel how your fingers kind of tingle when you put your hands out in front of you. Can you feel that fingers tingling when you put your hands out in front of you? That's the energy. That's that energy. That is God. That's God energy there. An energy that's waiting to be accessed, waiting to be brought into your experience. That's God's way of saying, I am here. I am here. I am here. I am embracing you. I am supporting you. I am holding you up. Everything that you could possibly desire is yours simply for the awareness that this is possible and the willingness to commit to the process of bringing it into your life. I'm here to support you. And I know for each of us, today is a changing day. Every day is a changing day. Today is the day that we open our hearts to receive that which God has for us. That we get really clear about what it is we want to experience in our life. And we get excited about it. We get excited about it. We claim it. We know that our life is being directed and co-created with something greater than we are, but something that loves us and supports us. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to share all of this, to share these insights with people of like mind, to share what I'm feeling in my heart, that there is infinite possibility and infinite good that is coming my way, I know is coming my way, that I know is coming the way of everyone here in this space. And then I simply release it. I give it to God. I give it to God for divine right timing and divine right action. And together we say with absolute belief, and so it is.
So it is.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me. For me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day,
bit. I'm feeling rather blessed to be here today. It's been very wonderful Sunday morning for myself at least, and I appreciate everybody for being here. So now is that part of our service where we get to do our receiving and our giving. So this would be the time where we get to take our prayer cards and go ahead and write that manifestation of what it is that you want to have show up in your life. Well, what is it that you want? Maybe we start with clarity. Maybe we really know. But let's take a few moments and write. Linda for being our speaker today. My gratitude to Dave for being our practitioner. My gratitude for each and every single one of you sitting in a chair or watching from home. I'm overflowing with, my heart is overflowing with gratitude. I'm so thankful for these gifts and these prayers, and I just am basking in the love of this moment. So thank you, God. Thank you for this moment. Thank you that I let go. I let God. So let us all, if you'd like to stick around, we have some snacks available and some coffee or tea. And we look forward to seeing everybody next Sunday. Have a wonderful time, and we'll sing our closing song.
I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle.